I hope you're all bright-eyed and awake because today we have prepared a great Insurtech breakfast for you. I am Gabriela Trujillo, Marketing Communications Manager at HITS, House of Insurtech Switzerland, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be your host for this exciting session. It's a beautiful morning outside, and it's about to get even better as we embark on this journey into the world of embedded insurance. Today, we have a wonderful guest speaker, the visionary CEO of TONI Digital, Mr. Bernard. With great experience and expertise, Bernard will share his experience and his perspective on the power of embedded insurance. We would also like to thank the Digital Insurance Association Switzerland. As you may know, HITS and TONI Digital are both members of this association. So thanks to this network, we were able to connect the dots and bring you this unique session. So I encourage you to participate, engage. Remember that at the end, we will have enough time for your questions. So you can use the chat to write them and I will read them out loud. But if you prefer, you can just raise your hand and I will give you the space to do so as well. As always, I have to remind you that this event will be recorded to be shared later on with the people that couldn't make it this morning. So if you want to dazzle us with your morning glow, keep your camera on. And if you'd rather stay incognito, just turn your camera off. It's all right, we got you. Now, let's crank up the energy and kickstart this event. I hope you are as excited as I am to dive into the world of embedded insurance and everything that has to offer us. All right, so thank you to this great group of people who are joining today, and let's the innovation begin. Bernard, you have the stage.
Thank you.
Yes.
Then just, you see the presentation?
Yes, now we can see it.
Perfect, and some words to me, to my person. I'm over 15 years working in the insurance industry. I did already my PhD at the Institute of Economics, Insurance Economics at the University of St. Gallen, and was responsible with Allianz Swiss for the whole direct and corporation business. And there I get in touch the first time with white label solutions or embedded insurance. I was responsible for the whole cooperation with AMAG, Emil Frey, BMW, and so on. And there were 2 points. One, where we can't really fulfill the wishes or the needs from our partners or from our customers. IT, you have always this restriction with very old IT system and often focusing on tied agents. And the second, really the culture, the willingness. If you have 80–90% of the profit coming from the tied agent channel or the broker channel, then it's really difficult to change something or to do innovation. That's why we founded TONI. TONI is a white label platform focusing really on embedded insurance. And I will show you a little bit my mind today, where we come from and what we see in the business. So just to start, what is embedded insurance? So normally you integrate coverage in a non-insurance product or ecosystem. So you have two different mindset. Normally you understand embedded insurance if you really couple the product with an coverage. So travel insurance, for example, and with the flight. But you have also, especially coming from China, Alibaba, I don't know if you know, but there you have an ecosystem and you integrate the coverage in the ecosystem. So if you are part of the ecosystem, you have also the possibility to have this white label or special coverage for the people who are joining this ecosystem. Normally, what we see right now, the biggest premium, gross written premium is done by automotive. Travel is very, very big, and in finance, especially in Spain or in France, and also new parts coming, healthcare, e-commerce, and so on. What is why it's embedded insurance so matters? Why it's so nice? First, is really convenience. If you're buying a bike and it's actually in the moment you buy it, insured, that's very convenient for you. Also relevance, you have really coverage only if you need, and the moment if you need it. Trust is very important because you're buying a car, for example, from BMW, and if BMW offers you insurance covers, then you have to high trust. Cost efficiency, there's no consulting between, no tied agent, nothing. And sure, customer loyalty, more for the distribution partner, because if you get offered also insurance products from the company, then the loyalty to this company or the brand from this company will getting stronger. But customer loyalty less for the insurance companies, because the distribution partner is really in the front, and insurance is more a back offer, product offer. If you look in the last years, what happened? It started early 2000s, especially with motor. Volvo, for example, in Sweden, starting to selling the insurance with the car. With the digital development, also it became more and more common to integrate it in different products. Yeah? And now it's really more and more in the late 2010s. You have more and more also across various industries who use this kind of embedded insurance solutions. And then you have really the catalyst, the accelerator with COVID, where you really start to look where you get your insurance coverage without any human contact. But it's really like this. We are not talking about a small market. It's really a huge market. If you look at the whole global insurance market, one of the top 10 insurances markets all over the world, then you have really the point that there is some growth, but it's 3% all over, not so huge. And the growth is especially coming through the embedded insurance market. The embedded insurance market all over the world is really now growing like crazy, and that is still the reason, because it's the digitalization, the automatization, where you can really integrate coverage into the product or into the ecosystem. And this is really, you can do that every year better. But the growth is always often driven by insurtechs. Why? You have still in the traditional insurance industry, you have still the old systems, the old solutions. If I'm looking at the Swiss insurance market, you often see systems that are 30, 40 years old, still based on COBOL systems. And with this kind of IT systems, it's really not so easy to integrate with APIs in smaller markets. You can do that really for, I don't know, huge partnerships where you see a huge potential. But if you want to do that also for smaller distribution partners, it costs the traditional industry, the traditional industry too much. And so this kind of market, it's often driven by the insurtechs. Some use cases or some examples from all over the world with a different approach that you see. There are different ways to do that. First, Tesla, because they are doing really the integration of the whole value chain again. So they build up their own insurance. So if you look at the market, normally you have always a partnership with the traditional insurance industry or with insurtechs. Tesla is doing more than less everything on their own in the US. So they believe they can do really insurance better because they are the tech guys. And if you look, insurance cover is nothing else than mathematics. So that's their opinion, and that's why Tesla built up their own insurance. And it's now really, for the traditional insurance industry, that's a big competitor, because the idea from Tesla is really you buy a Tesla for, I don't know, $50,000, and the insurance product is already included. And then you decided, no, I don't want the insurance coverage. I have my own. Then the Tesla car dealer tells you, yeah, but it still costs 50,000. And that is really total new competitor, because if it's so close integrated, then you will have a conversion rate from over 90%. In Europe, this kind of bundling is not allowed, but we will see what happened. Yeah? Amazon is doing a little bit different approach, and I'm focusing here really for the suppliers. Amazon has a cooperation with several traditional insurance industries. So they have, for example, a partnership with HDI, with Allianz, with Zurich, and they have like a competitor platform where the suppliers can look for special conditions, where are the best product for them, really. But that's SME products. It's not for the end customers, it's really for the suppliers. And there they offer you liabilities, property, cargo, logistic, and so on. Also really SME products. And for Amazon, it's really revenue. Yeah? And the last one from an international example, Airbnb. And that's also done by HDI, for example, in Europe. And it's very interesting because with every transaction you are doing, you have two coverage. I showed you here for the hoster, but it's also for the end consumer. And with every transaction, the insurance, the coverage insurance is integrated. So if you are paying 100 euro for a flat 1 day in Paris, €1 is for the insurance. Always completely embedded, integrated. Some examples from Switzerland, and to know also from the regulator side, there are some less regulation for this kind of embedded insurance. In Switzerland, we call that I lost the word. It's if you have less than 600 Swiss francs, you have very less integration, so less regulation. So if you have an insurance coverage, focus it with the product, you bundle it completely with the product, and there's not a possibility to change that, or it's really fixed to the product. You have much less regulation from the FINMA side. So you have the possibility, if you want to do that, like distribution partners, it's not like you have to educate your salespeople and so on. It's really easy for all distribution partners to integrate insurance coverage, and it's not really regulated. And that means that for the insurance, you have huge possibility to get more revenue, because normally the customer is yours. Yeah? So you are the first contact. For example, AMAG, and if you look AMAG leasing, they will know when somebody will buy the car months before you know it as an insurance. Yeah? Because they have always prepared the leasing, or they already bought the car, and you really know who is buying it and what kind of car the customer is buying. And this is really customer needs. So because he needs the insurance to drive, yeah. Otherwise, it is not possible, and that means he needs it really. And if it's fully integrated in the car, it makes really sense for the customer. In this case, AMAG in Switzerland is done by Zurich, and this is also very interesting. Amag starts with 3 insurance companies, with Allianz, with Zurich, and with AXA. And they change it now really to Zurich because of the regulation, and it's not allowed to work with a lot of different insurance, because then you are an independent broker and you have totally different regulation. Very known example, it's always said by Roger. He said, for example, this kind of travel insurance integrated in the flight, that are really, really old solution, and it's already done years, yeah, and it's still a very successful example, because it's always the same. You are buying something, and in the moment you are buying, you get the coverage. And the especially what we saw in the last years with holidays, that you get stuck somewhere in foreign countries, it's a really helpful and needed insurance. In this case, Swiss is working with the Allianz partners for years now, and really is still a very successful coverage and solution for both partners. And then example, and this example is really integrated in the ecosystem. It's not really integrated in the product, because what you do, you're buying by IKEA furniture, but what you get is an IKEA household and private liability insurance. So it's not really bundled with the product. It's more really integrated, or trying to integrate insurance product in the IKEA world. And the idea, especially from IKEA, is really revenue diversification and a competitive advantage, to show you are more than a furniture shopping center. You can offer your more and more solution and services. In this case, worldwide, there's a partnership with iptiQ. iptiQ is the MGA or white label platform from Swiss Re. And iptiQ has really a worldwide partnership with IKEA. They are not so successful in Switzerland, but for example, very successful in China and in the US. Then a small example from us, from TONI. We do that with Migrobank, and we provide really insurance coverage in the mortgage, in the moment when you purchase a house. Then you need, in different cantons in Switzerland, you need, for example, you have to a building insurance, and a PPI is the possibility to read the payment protection for families, or a risk life if you say, I want to cover my family. And we offer that with Migrobank together, really streamless in the process. So for the building insurance, you know the value of the house, you know the address, you know the people who are buying the house, and in this moment you can use the data and offer insurance especially for this kind of house. Same with risk life, for example, where we have 3 different cases, for example, 500,000, and that's for example, if you're in a family, both are working, but you are afraid the house is not so cheap, somebody will happen something, then we offer a risk life that you can hold the house for the rest of your life. And that's really a one-stop solution and data-driven, that you can really offer exactly the same, the coverage you need in the moment. For the bank, it's really additional revenue in this time, and also a deeper relationship, because it's not only the mortgage anymore, it's more an ecosystem where you can offer also different insurance coverage, and sure, you have growth opportunities. In this case, we are working with the Helvetia in insurance. They are covering all 3 of these products: risk life, PPI, and building. Yeah, some question on this point.
Right.
Also,
Okay, no.
no,
All
no.
good, all clear, all right.
Then everything clear on that point. Yeah, why we believe that embedded insurance is really is the future. We have really different different reasons, but what we think is really it's really convenience. It's convenience because it's so easy. If you're buying a very expensive bike, for example, more than 5,000 Swiss francs, then it's normally not covered by the household insurance. Then you have to look really for the right insurance product. You want to call your tied agent or you look online. It's really a lot of work to do. And it is really convenient if you can buy on the point of sale the right coverage for the product you love. And that's mean really a big convenience for the customer. For the customer, it's also relevant because he needs it. It's trust-based. For example, what we see with Micro, one of example, or we are working with Post. The conversion rates with Micro and Post Finance are much better we had before in the insurance industry, because there is in Switzerland, for example, there is no more than less no better brand than Micro. The people are really trusting this kind of brand, and that helps really to convert also the from lead to the product, to the selling product. Is this cost efficiency because you can do that everything digital, fully integrated, no people needed, and customer retention. That's are all we see a lot of possibilities. And what we see also right now, there is a survey done 2021, and they see a huge potential, because today 70% of all digital customers, and that's really based in Switzerland, would be interested to really get an offer in the moment they need it, for the product they bought, and also for the traditional customers, that's mostly customers from tied agents or broker, would be interested right now to buy the right product at the right time. Also, if you look now how the market looks like, there is really less embedded solutions in the market, because there is still this kind of that the traditional insurer is still, they are afraid to compare their own tied agent channel, and they are afraid that they lose the customers to the distribution channel. So if Coop, for example, is building an insurance ecosystem, then for traditional insurance, it's really more difficult to offer them their own insurance products, because normally Coop has always the advantage that they have often a stronger brand, and second, they are earlier with the customer because they know and the customers and the point of sale, and they can offer the right product. But what we see, and that especially what we see, for example, in Spain or in South America, the industry completely changed. And today, if you look in South America and some countries, 50% of all insurance products are selling through the banks. Because if you are you get a credit for a car, the bank knows it. They can offer you a motor product. If you're buying a house, then they knew you need a mortgage. If you are changing your address, they know it. And really today, in South America, 50%, in some countries, 50% of all insurance products are integrated, are embedded in the product over different channels. And we think this insurance gap, where there's really you have to bridge it, because otherwise the traditional insurance will lose a lot of market share. You have still some points where you will still have very strong traditional insurer, like if you go in the industry, if SMEs, if you have huge risk and so on. But for everywhere it's possible to bundle the insurance product with the product, we believe that the traditional insurance industry will have the problems really that they will lose the customer if they are not able to close the gap, because the customer need is really personalization, cost efficiency, transparency, convenience, the mode of buying, and embedded insurance solution offers you this kind of options. They allowed you to really buy the right product at the right time. That's a little bit overview or my views on this subject. And now I'm open for question or for discussion, because I saw on the list there are a lot of embedded insurance specialists in the call, so they can give also on my views feedback.
All right. Okay, so let's open the space for the Q&A. All right. Okay, somebody has their hands raised. I don't see your name, so just go ahead and ask the question. I think I can unmute
Zoom
you.
user.
Yeah, Zoom user. I don't know who you are, but you can ask your question.
Hi, I'm sorry, I'm Natalia. I'm working at Generali and trying to switch on my camera.
Here you are.
All right. The question would be, it's very interesting with embedded insurance, but we talked a lot about P&C, basically non-life. And the only thing I've heard about life, perhaps, would be the mortgages. Is that the case that we only can apply the embedded insurance for within the P&C area or insurance area? Or is there any other solutions? And the second question would be, I mean, I'm not very familiar with TONI entity, but how do we get to those distribution channels? Like how, for example, Tesla, who do they work with, or do they offer their own insurance? Basically, how do we get to get those channels that we can really embed our Generali product, of course, because I'm working for Generali, into the general insurance, into the other offers that are on the market? Thank you.
So thank you for the question. Maybe I start with the first one. So it's more, why P&C is bigger. It's because tradition. So really the market starts with insurance. At the beginning, it's much easier to bundle small non-insurance coverage to the product. But it's also possible to include risk life. It's done already for years, I don't know, 20, 30 years, where you integrate risk life in investment products. It's often done, and it's nothing else than the embedded insurance product to include the risk life in an investment product. And what we see, this kind of bundling is also growing. So there are different possibilities to really also to integrate risk life. And why risk life is smaller, it's more and less really traditional that the whole industry starts with non-life. From the regulator side, it's much easier to integrate small non-life products. And the second point, the second point is really it's often a question about willingness and IT. So there are two possibilities for Generali. You can do that like you done it with links. So you have a own startup where it's flexible and could offer this kind of product very flexible and easy in this kind of ecosystem, because with the traditional system, I think that's more difficult. And the second point is really willingness. So there are often RFPs, for example, where big companies, distribution partners want to integrate insurance products, and often it's like the willingness from the partner that they are not interested, because they say the tied agent channel is still so strong, we don't want to compete them. So there are various opportunities, but you have also a lot of knowledge in the house. I don't know, Roger, you want to add something? You have in the house really embedded insurance specialists. The way is a little bit different. We are focusing on more complex products, but it's driven by IT, like motor. But you can do that also really on photo, links done, or do it. Yeah. Okay, Roger, is fine for you.
All right.
Good. Then second question. There was.
All right. So actually, Roger had a question before. He said, what is your view on demand solutions in embedded insurance? But I think we already mentioned it. Okay, so we have another question. Is embedded insurance moving to parametric insurance? Example, based on the individual risk and the KYC of the seller touch point of the customer?
Yeah. It's really also driven by the regulator. I think that's a big question. And what we see, for example, in South America, or now starting in the US, the regulator are much more open. The regulator are much more open. You can use the data. So what they are trying in the US, for example, you are paying with Apple Pay, you are paying TV or computer, and the bank provider know that in the moment you are paying it, in this moment they offer you a coverage, and that is really convenient. And the customers in the US where they try it, they like this kind of model. In the moment, there is no chance to do that in Switzerland, for example, or in Europe, because the banks today don't know what you are buying. So the only thing what they see is that you are paying maybe 1,000 Swiss francs, and they know maybe that you use this 1,000 Swiss francs for in MediaMarkt, but they don't know what you are buying exactly. So it's not possible to give you a cover. Yeah. Or motor. I mentioned before the example from Tesla. That's not allowed in Switzerland. So it's not allowed really to hard bundle the insurance product with the product if the value is more than 600 Swiss francs. So I think the big difference is really the regulator. And if the regulator is really now again more on the consultant side, that if you are selling insurance products, you have to need education, then it's really a big part of all insurance products will stay with the traditional insurance industry.
Okay, all right.
Maybe ask a question to that. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I tried to raise my hand, but somehow I couldn't find the button. Just a follow-on question on that one, because you very nicely alluded now, we had P&C versus life and health. I think there's another trend that I see a little bit, and I just wanted to hear your thought on this. To what degree do you see embedded insurance covering products which already exist. So let's say a bike insurance, but that would also potentially be part of a regular household insurance, versus maybe also covers that do not exist at all, such as maybe, you know, a bad weather protection against your concert, or that you're going to, an open air concert that you're going to. Do you have any thoughts on that, where you see the business opportunities for embedded insurance going in terms of the actual covers that are being offered?
I totally agree. So there will come more and more new coverage, how you mentioned, weather insurance, for example. What are they trying? Allianz is trying that in Hungary, lateness insurance with your flight. So the airlines has really the problem. They are often late, 1-2 hours. And the customers are really angry on that. And now it's more that they integrate in the ticket insurance. And if you are late, you get payment from the insurance industry. So it's like a game now, yeah. That the customers hopes he is 1 hour or 5 minutes later, but then it's 1 hour, because if it's 1 hour, then he gets some money. Yeah, and these are totally new coverages. Also, skiing for in Austria, they are trying. I think it's Unica. They are trying this kind of insurance protection. If you have snow or not, then if not, you can book the hotel or the day where you want to ski, and if it's no snow, you get money. So there are also totally new ideas of covering, and it's only possible about over embedded insurance, because you will find no tied agent who will sell you insurance product, I don't know, for 1 or 2 Swiss francs, and consult you also on this way. That's much too, the consulting is much too expensive. So there will be totally new coverages. There will be only because you can integrate it in the product.
Got it.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. So there are a few questions on the chat. We still have 20 more minutes left, so let's get on them. Do you see a problem for embedded insurance with the new VAG in Switzerland?
So yes, and yes and no.
Okay.
So you have the rule from 600 Swiss francs. Yeah. The value of and the 600 Swiss francs means it must be less than 600 Swiss francs insurance premium a year. So everything what is lower than 600 Swiss francs, it's easier now. So you can really integrate more than less everything. Yeah. But at the other side, if you want to, for example, integrate risk life or motor insurance, it becomes more difficult. Because how I mentioned before, AMAG, for example, started their embedded insurance program with 3 insurance companies. And this is not possible anymore, because if you tell the customer, I'm looking for the best insurance product, you are a broker. You are an independent, and then you really need education. And I don't believe that you will all AMAG car dealers educated on insurance products. Yeah, a VBV certification. Yeah, that's completely not realistic. So I think there will be a change. There will be more and more smaller product, completely integrated. Yeah, but with the new regulation, there will be less in the high value premium insurance products.
All right, thank you. For the next question, so in connection to Roger's question, can you explain the relationship between TONI, Bâdoise, and Migros? Which role do the partners have? Why is the intermediary and has to comply with the law Okay, VAG. So that's a lot of questions in one.
Okay, I can explain a little bit about Migrobank and Helvetia. It's not Baloise, it's Helvetia.
Okay.
Very important, very important. There are different, maybe I can answer a lot of questions. They have a special, Migrobank has a special insurance team. And these people are certificated insurance selling VB4 certification. So they are allowed to do all the consulting and so on. So it's more the mortgage is like a lead. Yeah? And then you have two possibilities. You just say from digital, yes, I want it. Then it's like online shopping, buying. And if you have any question, you will be sent to the Migrobank insurance team, where they can explain you the product, or they can consult you the consulting if you have more question and so on. So and that's why it's still fine with the regulator, because if there are really some questions, then you have people who are VB4 certificated. I mean, that should answer more than less all the questions.
Okay, thank you, Bernard. Okay, so we have more questions, all right. Okay, so, okay, let's just see. Okay, so taking your feedback into consideration, do you foresee any change in the regulatory space which would open more opportunities, or is there any certain limit which will not overcome?
Yeah, that's difficult. So how I mentioned before, I think this kind of small non-life products, there will be more and more less regulation, so that will be easier. So that will be really, there will be huge growth, we think so. But the regulator is very afraid on this kind of, especially in health insurance, this kind of consulting where the people are the tied agent are selling some products you don't really want to have, or too much or too expensive and so on. So I think the interface between tied agent or consulting and consumer will be more and more regulated in Europe and also in Switzerland. So it will be this difference between small till 600 Swiss francs and more expensive, more complicated products will be bigger, and the regulator is really concentrating on the more expensive products like health, like life, or expensive non-life products.
All right. Also, another question. What is your opinion of the role of data analytics and AI, Gen AI, big hype at the moment, in enhancing the effectiveness of embedded insurance models?
Yeah, so this is a point very interesting, because AI has the possibility to change it directly. What we today see, what the regulator told you, is that a human being is not allowed to do the consulting, no, without VB4 certification, but AI could do that. Yeah. And this had really the potential to change the whole industry, because there is nothing to regulate anymore. Yeah. If you are buying a car and AI is selling you the motor product, yeah, what do you want to do? You want to AI has to, the AI solution from Emil Frey has to VB4 certification. So there will be then really a huge problem, because today you are allowed to buying on your own, for example, online. You go to a website and you buy an insurance product. because it's your own responsibility. But in the moment where it's a human being in interaction with you, this human being needs a VBV certification. But if AI is doing that, what will happen?
Yeah. All right, so we have a few more questions and we're just about on time. So there's another question. Hi, Bernard. From customer perspective, having traditional and more embedded insurance coverage could become complex to handle, especially in the moment of lost claim. What are your thoughts on that? Thanks, Angela.
Hi, Angela. Nice question. Yeah. So my thought is really, so what we see right now, it's claims is really a big question, because you are buying, for example, the insurance coverage with MX Sport or Sport Oxner. You're buying the coverage on the point of sale. That's all allowed. But in the moment of truth, if you have a claim, it's really nobody knows what to do. So you go to the Migros shop, they say they give you a number, then you call somewhere else. So we think there's huge potential really to explore the business models, yeah, that you really know what to do. Right now, the whole industry, also the insurtechs, are concentrate on the sales process. The sales process, it's more and more easier, it's fully integrated, you get all the data and so on. But nobody thought about what happened if you have a claim. And there is a lot of still bad vibration from the customer. Yeah. Okay. There are different solutions on the way, but right now I see this point there are less really good solutions, because the focus is really on the sales process and not on the claims process.
Okay. All right. So we have a last question. So who are your biggest competitors in the market right now?
In Switzerland, the traditional insurance companies. Right. So if you have an RFP, then it's often that there are no insurtechs that are really the traditional insurance companies who compete to us. Yeah, it changed a little bit more and more, because we are a partner from the insurance industry. What we offer is really cost efficiency. I do example. We try to embed it, cyber insurance in a notebook. Yeah, if you do this kind of project with a traditional insurer, the whole project will cost you 1 or 2 million because of IT costs and overhead and so on and so on. And the whole business case was revenues about 50 or 100,000 Swiss francs a year. So make completely no sense. But if you are doing this kind of business with smaller companies who are cost efficiency like us, yeah, you can earn money with this kind of models. And you have still the risk and can use, for example, the new customers you win for cross-selling. But if you have really huge cases, for example, IKEA and iptiQ, IKEA said, okay, we want a solution worldwide, not for Switzerland. We want a solution in China, in the US, in South America, everywhere. There's no insurtech who is able to do this kind of, yeah. And for example, iptiQ is and TONI are in totally different fields. We are in the smaller field, the easier, very flexible and fast. And iptiQ is on the huge, big, and this will still stay for the next years with the big traditional insurance companies. I think so.
All right, thank you for that. Does anybody else have a question for Bernard before we wrap it up? Anybody? I think I hear someone, but I don't know if they have a question or their mic is on. Feel free to ask the last question. It's okay. Oh, I see one. So thanks, Bernard, for the nice presentation. That's Roger.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you again, Bernard, for this incredible session on embedded insurance. As it's a tradition for the Insurtech Breakfast, it would be great if we can see your faces and we can take a quick photo for later on. So I'm just going to put you all in a gallery and just take a quick snap. So if you can all, whoever wants to, it's not mandatory, but it's a little tradition from our side. So let's see. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick snap here. 1, 2, 3. Let's take another one just in case. 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay, guys, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. And remember that for future events for HITS, just remember to follow us on LinkedIn, that where all our updates are. And we are thrilled to see you again next time. Again, thank you, Bernard. It's been a pleasure, and we will see you all next time.